Yep.
And what? Give me some.
Actually, what led to the food was the examiner came running back into the room where I was and started tugging at my teeth. And he wanted to know why Barney's teeth were removable and mine were not.
And the story is Barney had dentures.
Yeah, during World War II, Barney got too close to a hand grenade and knocked his teeth out.
And they were totally confused by all of this.
That was very puzzling to them. Yeah.
And humorous.
Yeah.
Any other instances that something that as a human you took so general as a characteristic that you never thought of it, that they got confused by, almost childlike, akin to the denture incident?
Yeah.
Was there anything else like that they seemed that, boy, you don't know that you can recall?
Well, they were sort of disappointed. I didn't know anything about the solar system.
Okay.
I think they really expected me to be able to identify the map.
They were actually upset that you didn't recognize their home. Let's go to that. Marjorie Fish, months later, or years later actually.
Years later.
Under hypnosis. Tries to induce you under hypnosis to redraw that story?
No,
okay,
no.
Maybe you can go over that.
Dr. Simon, at the time.
Benjamin Simon.
Dr. Benjamin Simon said that during the week, if I wanted to, I would be able to remember the star map, and I would sketch it. But I was not to think about it. I was just to let my hands go ahead and draw it, which I did. And that was in 1965.
4 years after the incident.
Now, in 1969, Marjorie Fish came here and stayed a few days, and asked me all kinds of questions, hours and hours, which she taped. And then used that to go back home and
took your map,
did the research on it, and identified the areas.
The area of the star map, which she said was in the constellation that we know, Reticulus, in the star system was Zeta Reticuli.
Yeah.
And from that point, do you remember them mentioning Zeta Reticuli, or is that a terminology that we as Earthlings have given them? So
I would have no idea what their name
Okay.
is for their home planet.
And do you remember what type of star system? Was it a white star? Was it a yellow star? A red giant? Do you recall what type of star or anything?
It's, I don't know, but I do know that our astronomers believe that the stars on my map were the ones most likely to have planets and have life, as we know it.
And so they may be younger stars, hotter stars.
Actually, we're believed to be 4.6 billion years old.
Or 20 billion. It seems that we age a billion years every 5 years. So.
But actually, Zeta Reticuli, we believe, this is a belief. We don't know for sure, but we believe it's about 11 billion years old. So they've been around a lot longer than we have.
Over twice as long, and the chance to evolutionize to project. So this puzzling incident, you're examined. You get a tour of the spaceship or the craft. Did they show you anything? It's just only on a need-to-know basis.
Just the one room I was in.
The interaction with you and the question and answer session was more than Barney. They did not give Barney the opportunity to inquire.
No, there was no conversation with Barney. I enjoyed myself. I had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
He joked. We kidded.
Really?
Yeah. I invited him to come back. Like I said, please, please, please come back. Oh, I had so many friends who would love to meet you.
So this was not a traumatic experience at all. It was an enlightening experience. Spiritually uplifting, perhaps.
Right. It was. Nobody can tell me there's not life on other planets.
At the same time, it seems that 36 hours after the sighting is on record, according to Jacques Vallée, at 2:14 a.m., Pease Air Force was tracking an unknown object.
Oh yeah, I told him that. Pease Air Force Base released the radar report where they tracked this craft. Sent 2 planes out to check it out, and the reports of the pilots are still classified, so we know they just saw it.
To the skeptic, that kind of knocks them out of the water. Then, if for you to guess, if this were a concocted story, boy, you know your stuff. It's a pretty well orchestrated event to have Pease personnel involved, and that Betty and Barney, Barney was a postal worker.
Yeah.
Postal worker. You're involved in real estate, and that you pulled off a grand hoax through the Air Force. It's nearly impossible, if not impossible, absurd, I guess is the term I'm looking for. You're released from the craft. You get back into the car. You check your watches. Why?
Well, I don't think we checked our watches until we're almost home to see what time it was, and both our watches had stopped functioning.
And you could not account for some time elapsed.
No, we realized the trip had taken much longer than what it should have. Maybe about 2 hours.
Were you feeling woozy? Did you have a headache? Did you have any physical? Were you just exhausted? What can you describe what your feeling was?
We've been driving all night. We got home about 5 in the morning. We're calm, we're relaxed.
Oh, so you weren't...
Feeling very well.
You didn't feel traumatized or injured at any time or should I say violated at that time?
Yeah.
You go in the house, and I guess is it the next morning you check out the car and what happens when you look at the car?
Highly polished spots on the trunk of the car.
Highly.
And that day we were getting tropical rains from a hurricane that was going through, and it was heavy downpour, and didn't affect the spots at all. They stayed there for months.
Your sister, who claimed to have seen a UFO, suggested that you do what around the car?
She talked to a physicist who said go out with a compass and check out the spots, which we did.
What happened?
And the compass was very, very erratic.
Almost spinning, or just?
Yeah, it was, and we tried it on different other parts of the car, and it didn't react that
But just near where the spots were.
Just the spots.
Hence the inference being a magnetic anomaly.
Yeah.
Something was really distorting the magnetic draw of the compass. Yeah. At that point, afterwards, do you contact CUFOS, Dr. J. Allen Hynek, or what is the sequence of events?
No.
Does Walter Webb appear?
First of all, we didn't do anything.
Okay.
And then NICAP in Washington.
Okay.
I wrote to them because I wanted to know, being exposed to a UFO, close range, was there any health problems? Were we exposed to radiation? What kind of dangers?
They dispatched Walter Webb as their representative.
That was later.
Okay. So NICAP has that. That letter winds up on the files of the Center for UFO Studies with Dr. J. Allen Hynek.
It might have, I don't know.
You never ever communicated with Dr. Hynek?
Oh yeah, we became good friends.
Oh, really?
But that was years later.
Okay.
We did numerous TV programs together.
Okay. What was your feeling on Dr. Hynek? Was he obviously a thinly veiled skeptic?
Oh, no. He believed every word of it.
At the end?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, as soon as he met us.
Sure. I think that his take on the UFO phenomena when he was humiliated with the swamp gas incident, have to trot out an absurd explanation for an event in front of a college dorm, I believe, in Michigan or near the Great Lakes. That's when he said, all right, enough, that he saw that the government was masquerading or at least trotting out disinformation and misinformation on the UFO phenomena.
Because when he first started, he was working for the government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Hynek and you were great friends then?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
And I know many. And I believe Dr. Hynek's son, there's a son who used to, I don't know about now, you live down here in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. So, you're having some troubling dreams now. Is that what happens at home?
Oh.
After the
Actually,
encounter?
10 nights after this happened, I had a series of dreams for 5 nights. Each dream was different, which later I found out was a recall of what had happened.
And the dreams were depicting what you just described to me. At that point, what do you do? Is Barney troubled by all of this? Is Barney...
No.
Has his life pattern changed? Has his mood changed at all? Or
actually...
Any physical...
Well, the first thing I did was each morning, during the next day, I wrote down what I could remember in my dream.
The following day, which would be the 20th.
And every time I had it... No, I didn't.
I'm sorry, 10 days,
nights
right, sure.
After.
So we're talking the 29th, 30th, roughly.
Yeah. And I made a record of these
38
dreams.
years to the day. Okay,
And
sure.
then I took and put them away.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, several months later, I talked with my supervisor about the meaning of dreams.
And
Then she said, well, maybe it happened.
and suggested, or did she
No,
connect you
we
with some?
just talked about it.